A new season of racing with GT cars always presents exciting challenges. As we look to the first race of the season, well, there are some even bigger challenges as it is Sebring in the dark for the ARL GT Trophy Championship. We are ready to get racing and get qualifying here in Sebring, Florida. My name is DJ Clark, and I'm joined in the booth by Austin Knight today. Dennis Branch is punching buttons behind the scenes to help us out as our producer, and it is going to be a fantastic race, cool conditions, but Austin, drivers getting ready to qualify right now, but as we've seen at Sebring, this isn't exactly a qualifying depending track, as there are plenty of opportunities to overtake all around this historic.
It's always a fun time to start off the race with a night race, and especially at Sebring.
Exactly. Sebring, one of the drivers' favorites around here. Plenty of areas to overtake, as I said, going down into the hairpin, and of course, always going off of the long almond straight down into Sunset. Open qualifying here today, so that's going to set up some strategic games. Could we see a little bit of teammates working with each other, trying to work on the draft, do you think, to try to pick up that extra couple of tenths of a second?
Definitely. We've seen any bits of open qualifying. On the out-laps, not so much. We just saw two cars going side by side right there. But teammates working with each other is definitely something that I've seen a lot in the Apex Racing leagues, in multiple of them. The Apex Racing Mazda League, the Apex Racing Formula V League. We've seen it in the open wheel Formula 3 League. It's more of a tactic used in Formula racing, as in GT cars, you do get not that big of a draft off the other car ahead of you, but we should expect some teammates to try to work together, maybe get a good first banker lap, and then start working together. But definitely, we're going to be seeing a few cars, a few drivers. Just look at the flames off of Tom Bingham right there in that McLaren up. We're going to be seeing a few packs of drivers, maybe favoring to follow some of the pros, as this is Tom Bingham following one of the Lamborghinis who's following a BMW. So if you're one of the AM drivers, I would suggest following behind a pro AM. Find somebody with a 1 in front of their name, or if you're lucky, find a pro who doesn't have a 1 of your name, like Lucas Lang. Double digits are pros, triple digits with 1s are AMs, and then triple digits with 2s are AMs. Pro AMs is the 100s.
Exactly, that is right. We have those 3 classes out here, but they will be allowed to race with each other as it goes along. And you mentioned there, running around in the McLaren, a good disparity of cars out here, pretty much seeing all makes and models represented across the field.
Except for my Ford. I was promised a Ford runner. I'm not getting a Ford runner, and I'm disappointed.
Ah, the old Ford not getting that representation. Always sad to see, as I do love the noise of that machine. Always spectacular.
I might have to enter this series in the Ford and just race for the rest of the season in the Ford, just for that.
Well, one of the things to talk about, one of the talking points here, will certainly be the balance of performance coming in that has been implemented in the new iRacing system. In the latest update, obviously the Lamborghini, who we follow right here, had a little bit of weight added to it, as it was a little overpowered last season. We've seen a lot recently of the Audi being the preferred car around here, but I've got to imagine around Sebring with the higher curbs, that Audi, a little bit notorious for not liking curbs, maybe a little bit tricky. Obviously a good number of BMWs out in the field. Couple of the old school Mercedes out there as well, but not seeing a whole lot of representation from the Ferraris, specifically in the pro category.
Yeah, the Ferrari is a very good introductory GT3 for a lot of them, and we see a lot of Ferraris in the AM class. The Ferrari is the most raced car in iRacing, I believe. Most raced sports car in iRacing, so I'm not surprised to see a lot of Ferraris right there. The strong cars around here is actually the McLarens. They are so good underneath the bumps around here. but there's only 2 McLarens, and they're actually in the AM class, and it's our own Andy Thompson and Tom Bingham right now. We see Tom Bingham currently having provisional pole for the AM class by almost a second right now. And that McLaren, as a McLaren driver, you know when you come to Sebring, it just cruises over these bumps. It's so smooth. The BMWs as well, they're very stable over bumps as well. And we're going to be seeing a lot of fun right now from them as the Audi of Till Behim goes on to provisional pole by 0.02 of a second.
That's a great lap there from Till, being able to pip Thomas Cope to the pole, and some good disparity as Lucas Lang able to bump his way up into 3rd place in that pro category. Great to see there the top 4. Speaking of those makes and models, top 5 now in the pro category. It is Audi, Lamborghini, Porsche, BMW, and Ferrari. So everybody getting their day in the sun there, as it were. Watching some cars here as we focus in on the 69 Lamborghini right now. That is Adam Wright for BSTV Esports, working his way down underneath the bridge and into the hairpin. This is one of the overtaking opportunities that we like to talk about. It certainly is an area to be able to get done. He's following behind right now Matthew McBride for the Track Scotland team, trying to see if he can maybe get a little bit of whiff of that draft.
Yeah, I saw in the back how someone is really bump drafting one of the cars in the back, as this is Matthew McBride coming across the line. You see a little bit of improvement right there, mostly improved lap, jumps up into 6th place and goes pull off immediately to find some clean air, or just hop out there and just get ready for the race, as this is 10 minutes of open qualifying, and it is currently with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in qualifying. As drivers are just finding their spot right now. There's the 32nd place of Patrick Eimer ahead of David Gill, who is just starting his qualifying lap.
Yeah, indeed, and we're seeing a lot of the drivers popping into the pits and coming back out. Now, that has a couple of strategies behind it. As you said, it is potential to maybe find some clean air, be able to run in some good times. It also may be a situation of maybe just wanting to get a fresh set of boots on the car. It's not particularly toasty out there, so I don't think we're going to be worried about a whole lot of tire degradation.
Really,
but at the same time,
really
low fuel running around here is definitely going to be the way to go. So if you're able to come in and come out and minimize the amount of fuel you have in that tank, that is a great way to try to pick up some speed.
Yeah, the strategy they're in, they're unchecking their tires, they're hopping in, they're adding about 1 or 1.5 gallons of fuel in there, they're getting back out there, keeping the tires all heated up and not getting a new fresh set is definitely a good strategy. As chaos off the track right there. 2 cars. Tom Bingham was one of the McLarens I saw, and there was another car out there, but Tom in qualifying, well, provisional leader, as there's the Mac attack right there. The 2 McLarens, 1-2 in the AM class, and they're looking very good. Andy Thompson in that 2nd spot, and yeah, we need more McLarens in here.
I have to agree with you, especially at night. There's nothing better than seeing those flames spitting out the back of McLaren as we follow Andy Thompson there in the 2-2-3. Looking over the leaderboards right now, it is Till Beam continuing to be P1 in pro category. Pro-Am, it is Greg Hubler. And down in the AMs, as you said, it is Tom Bingham as they continue to work in here. Only about 1.5 minutes left in this open qualifying session. So these laps coming at you fast, and you have got to maximize your time.
Yeah, this lap that they're on right now will definitely be the last lap, because when it hits 10, it hits 10. You might get a few extra seconds of running down the straightaway if you're coming out of Sunset Bend, but this will be the last lap for most of these drivers right now, as we're seeing it lap times 1 minute 58. Top the leaderboard right now by Till, who is just coming across the line, does not improve on his lap time, as we are looking at Stefan Anderson has not set a lap time yet in that Porsche, as he heads into Sunset Bend with under 40 seconds remaining right now. And Sunset Bend, such a fantastic corner. That's a big crash for Andy Thompson. Sorry if we just hopped away from that Qualifying lap, Andy Thompson went off track. Oh, and Andy Thompson spun it around. Andy, that's not how you qualify. Come on.
Oh, not the best run there for Andy, but he'll at least be able to hold on to that second place position provisionally here, although he does only have about 0.04 of a second over his closest competitor behind him, so he'll have to be a little bit careful on that. The German of Emmer very, very close behind. He'll have to hope that he's not able to put in a faster lap. We follow here Kieran Smart, one of the Track Scotland drivers, working his way around as the checkered flag flies. Final time starting to come in here at Sebring.
Yeah, Lucas Lang set a purple sector on the back straightaway, but the rest of that lap was not good enough for him to improve on that lap time, as we are seeing a few other drivers currently on their laps right now. Kieran Smart, they've had improvements. Chris Gooch, the Pro-Am driver, has some improvements early on in the lap. The first 3 sectors, the last 4 sectors not going well for him. Kieran Smart does not improve. Chris Gooch does improve, jumps up into 6th place. David Gill is across the line. Don't believe that's a improvement for David Gill. Andrew Broom. Nope. And Till is actually on the lap right now. Is he going to improve on his lap? He's at purple sector 1 right now. Current provisional pole sitter by 200s. He's just out there having a little bit of fun. Goes back into the pit lane. He doesn't need to push himself right there. The only other top 5 driver out there right now is Wibbly Kneecap. And 4th right now. It's not looking like the best of laps for Wibbly, so I'm just expecting a pit lane entry. Yep, we are going to be seeing that.
Yeah, there indeed he comes back in. We follow here on Ebner as he works his way around through Jean Debienne and down into Le Mans corner, trying to improve right now. I'm seeing a couple of green sectors in the middle of the lap here, but I'm not sure if this is going to be the fastest time overall. He's currently sat back in 11th in that pro category. Let's see if he's able to nail Sunset.
Yeah, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, very great sectors for Pascal, going all the way to the outside of the track right now, using all the speed, comes across the line, currently sitting 19th overall, and that lap was just 0.03 of a second slower than his fastest lap right there, and that's going to be qualifying.
Indeed, that is qualifying done and dusted here at Sebring. So it is time for us to run you through the grid here really quick before we get going and get into this race. It will be an hour-long race here with a rolling start, as is tradition here at Sebring. Actually, I think we're just waiting for one last car to cross over the line. But as we said, starting off in pole position, it will be Till Beam. Thomas Cope to his outside in row 2. Behind them, Lucas Lang and Wibbly Kneecap, or Wibbly Kneecap, however you want to say it. Tom McKell and Matthias Beer behind them. Greg Hubler will be starting off in pole position for that Pro-Am category. Kieran Smart behind them. Some good drivers up and down the field. Anybody you're watching for here, Austin?
There are a lot of people we're watching for. Fastest in practice was Kneecap. He's down in Kneecap in 4th place. He was the fastest overall. We're going to be seeing a lot of action right there. Also, I really want to see some of the Pro-Ams. They're going to be dicing it with some of the pros right now. We see Greg Hoopler up there and Christian Regenwetter. They're going to be very fun. But hey, qualifying's over. We got a full pace lap to go here. So let's just walk through the grid.
Exactly. So we said Till Beam and Thomas Cope, followed by Lucas Lang and Wibbly Kneecap with Tom McKell and Matthias Beer. Greg Hubler, your highest placed Pro-Am driver, going to be starting right in the midst of the pros. That's going to be very interesting to see. Kieran Smart's going to be to his outside. Tom Valentini will be in P9, followed by Matthew McBride with Tim Spesser and Christoph Regenwetter, the second of the Pro-Am drivers. Then we get into the meat of the Pro-Am field. James Hall and Mads Hasland with Arthur Hupke Merrill and Chris Gooch, Hendrik Lang, and Andrew Broom, the first of your Pro-Am, another one of your Pro-Am drivers there, Pascal Ebner, and Tom Bingham lining off in pole position.
There's the top of the AM drivers right there, and it's surprising to see Pascal down there in 19th.
Yeah, very surprising. The Delta Sports staff driver, he's going to have a lot of work to do to try to get his way forward. As we said, these classes aren't necessarily fixed. They're allowed to fight with each other, so that's going to be pretty interesting there. Michael Ask, then Renee Hugenhout will be in P22. Jose Melbron and Adam Gladden will be in 24th in those Pro-Ams. Rowan Shartner and Adam Wright, another pro driver, really out of the field. Do you think there's going to be a lot of chance for them to move their way forward here?
The pro drivers, they're very good at moving through the field, but the Pro-Am, it's a very murky water situation because the Pro-Am drivers, they're really fast. They are very competitive. We've seen this in the Apex Racing League Monza Championship where the Pro-Am drivers actually stick it to the pro drivers a couple of times, and the Pro-Am spread is very thin right here. The cutoff was about 2,000 to 3,000 I rating. And then 4,000 and up is pro. So, you know, we got a big number of 2,000 to 3,000 drivers, and, you know, some drivers very suited to the track, some drivers very suited to the car, and they really know on how to get pretty well done up here as we get ready to rock and roll right here. All the drivers pulling off as, yeah. So I'm expecting these pros and Pro-Ams to really have a big attack with each other as we see the AM field. Eden Frisna in 35th, followed by Fernando Torres, David Gill, Alex Fields, Matt Seizure, Navier Luce, Adam Morrison, Ryan Odilani, Colin Sanson, and Darren Dorothy, Stefan Anderson, and Mark McManus in 46th place.
Yeah, so we've got a very, very full field, and all of them trying to thread their way down into those opening couple of corners. It always seems to be a little bit of a meat grinder there, Austin. It's certainly going to be something that we're going to have to watch out for. Is never exactly the easiest to get all of those cars down into the queue when you go down into turn one.
Yeah, it really is, and so turn one is going to be a lot of patience for a few of these drivers, especially on these opening laps, because if we have just a little bit of drivers just struggling to make it in there, we are going to have it's going to get pretty interesting, I can tell you. It's going to get pretty interesting, and a lot of these people are really going to, you know, watch how they take a few of these things.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have to be very, very careful to make sure it works out well. I think an hour-long race here, it's going to require a lot of patience. As we watch Tom Valentini there working his way around under this pace lap. A lot of patience here is going to be required to get through this entire race. And I think a lot of very intelligent overtaking, let's call it. You don't want to be jumping out at the start. You don't really want to be going for broke here at the beginning. It's the old adage, but you can't win the race in the first corner, but you certainly could lose it.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen a lot of you can't win a race lap one, but you can certainly lose it right there. And I know a few of these drivers, they definitely do not want to start their season with a incident like that.
No, they do not. Following there, Thomas Cope in that familiar Olympus Esports machine in the Lamborghini. He'll be starting at the outside of Till Beam. Beam in the Audi up front. Again, that Audi just sort of surprising to be as good as it is everywhere, knowing especially that it's not a great car to be going over the curbs in, but obviously behind the hands of Till Beam, it is a fantastic car, able to put that thing on pole. Now they work their way down the long Allman Straight here. This is where everything starts to come to the fore. Adrenaline starting to rise a little bit as you get ready for that pace truck to pull off and in control of the field. Will go over to Till Beam. Coming through sunset right now, even though the sun has already fully set here at Sebring International Raceway. There goes the pace truck off, waiting for Barney to wave the green flag. There it is in the air, and the green flag is out. We're racing in Sebring. A little bit of jockeying there behind from Lang and Niekamp as they fan out 4-5 wide, going down into the first corner. This could get a little bit hairy, but it's Till Beam with a good lead up front. Lucas Lang trying to get a little bit of a run on Thomas Cope, but it's not going to be able to do. Everybody in the first couple of lines start to fan themselves out. Oh, we've got contact in the back.
Oh, no. Oh, that's a little bit of a crash right there, but a big checkup by all the drivers heading into turn two right now as everybody's side by side through this very tight little corridor right now, just trying to avoid all the curbs and finds the space right now as everybody's nose to tail. We see a few drivers looking down the inside, staying side by side, probably just finding a place to have clean braking markers in case, as we're 3 wide in the background heading into the hotel hairpin, and it just looks like an absolute gridlock Sunday afternoon driving right now for a few of these drivers. They are stuck in a lot of traffic. A few drivers really making a lot of moves, a few drivers really missing out a lot. Tom Manquel losing 8 spots right now as the pro driver really struggling to get that Ferrari under control. He found himself he started himself in 5th place at the start of this race. He's down in 12th. Horrendous start right there off the line as we are side by side heading into the right-hander right now. This is just a massive pack as well, you can see all of our packs have kind of already spread out. The AMP pack is really surprising. We got the 2 McLarens already 1.8 seconds clear of the rest of the field right there, as the Pro-Am is kind of the same thing. There are 2 leaders and then it's a second gap, and then at our lead of the race, it's, well, 3 cars very tightly contested with each other.
Indeed, we've got a nice little side-by-side here between Haslam and McBride. Haslam going to be able to hold that out, although that BMW looking a little bit twitchy going down into Sunset, and that's going to open up the opportunity for McBride to fight back coming out of the corner. They're going to cross over the line to put 1 lap in the books. Oh, touching, banging doors between the 2. Careful, boys. This isn't NASCAR. This is GT racing.
This is not the touring car series, as well as, contact into turn 1. Around goes Bisgard, and then that was the car that was in 16th right there, making contact as well. I think that was Pascal. Maybe, I'm not sure. They get a little bit of a tag right there in the back end by one of the Lamborghinis, but massive contact right there at turn 1, and that has sent them, down the field right there, as this is Christopher Regenwater in 20th position right now, and looking down to the inside, that's the McLaren of Tom Bingham, sending it 3 wide down to the inside, and he's made that move work right there. You see Andy Thompson, the other McLaren, trying to stay with his fellow classmate and the AM Championship race leader right now, but Tom Bingham with a absolute send out the inside. That is one to write home to mama about.
Yes, it is a massive, massive move, and we've got another one coming in here. A little bit of wiggling there in the back as we continue to follow here the battle between the BMW and the Ferrari. Very, very close. A couple of drivers a little bit agitated here on the radio as things get big, as we've got a big kerfluffle in the back.
Yeah, that's an Audi and the BMW. You mentioned one of the BMWs looking a little bit loose. Actually, those are 2 BMWs. I believe these 2 were actually touching heading into the Andretti corner braking zone, and they might have hit the curb off the exit. This is what happened. Yeah, that was a mad seizure on the inside. He's hit the outside curb, and there's just no. These BMWs are really wide. You got to leave the space for the BMWs. You can't fit 2 BMWs into space where you can fit 2 Audis for sure. They are that big.
Indeed they are, but we focus back in on the lead as Thomas Cope putting the pressure here to Till Beam, trying to see if there's anything to have. This is the battle for the overall lead of the race, and I've got to give credit here to Lucas Lang as well. He is closing in behind quite well, really holding in close as they work their way through turn 2. Maybe a little bit of a setup here, but Thomas Cope, a very experienced veteran. We've seen him quite often here on Apex Racing TV. He is not one to make a move unless it is fully open. He's thinking about it. He's going for it. He's down to the inside.
Oh, Cope onto the curb. Absolutely nailed that apex right there and that brake zone. They're going to exit side by side right now. But around the outside, here comes Till in that Audi on the Lamborghini, still on his inside. Thomas Cope, though, he's going to be into the inside, heading into the Andretti once more. Cope down low. Cope a little bit side right there. And it's a little bit of wheelbase. You see the flashing of the lights. Till not happy about that, as he gives him a little piece of his mind, that flashing of the lights right there, as his teammates Lucas Lang on the back of Till right there. They're going to try to gang up on Thomas Cope right there. But for now, the Lamborghini of Thomas Cope leads this race.
Yes, indeed he does. We've got a nice little battle here in the back. This is Niekamp and Valentini as they work their way through Bishop and Cunningham, going down now into Jean Debienne, trying to see if there is anything to be had in the back. Battles in the pro class continuing to fire off of Le Mans here. This is the one area of the track you mentioned a little bit earlier. These GT3s, not exactly the best drafting cars, but you can pick up a good whiff of the draft as you work your way down this long back straightaway.
Yeah, the draft down the long straightaway is definitely helping out, but, you know, for a few of these cars, they're going to benefit from the draft. Some of them won't be getting that much, and that BMW, I don't really think we'll be getting a lot of that draft, being bigger than most of the cars ahead of it. As you can see, our 3 leaders pulling away from this pack of 4, and then it's a bigger pack behind them. But this is going to be a big shot, as that is one of the Lamborghinis off the track right there. That is Valentini.
And that's going to get the position right back to Kieran Smart there for Track Scotland, who was able to move his way up ahead in the BMW. He's now going to set his eyes on Wiebe Niekamp and try to see if there is anything to be had from that. Battle's still very, very close, but it is starting to form a little bit out here, a little bit more, as the drivers continue to go here, working 6 laps into this hour-long race.
Yeah, 6 laps, and, you know, 6 laps, 6 minutes. Leading in on 7 minutes of this hour-long race, and these guys are racing like it's the last lap, last 20 minutes of a race right now. Down the inside move, that's Andy Thompson. You see the flames spitting out of that McLaren right there as he gets off into the grass just a little bit, trying to make the move on the 127 of Brian Force right there. Andy Thompson very confident in that McLaren skill around here, and you know, he's just stuck on the inside. Oh, contact around the outside. Adam Gladden and Michael Askey and Brian Vorse getting into each other, and Andy Thompson, well, it feels like he's in front of a pack of bears right now, because these guys are all charging around him and having their own fight. He's in this McLaren that's just cruising around there in this pack of Pro-Ams.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point to bring up, is the fact that this is a little bit out-of-class battle there for Andy. He is currently continuing to run in second place in that amateur category, but he is in the middle of a bunch of Pro-Ams, and that's one of the things that makes these battles so significant and so spectacular to keep an eye on as they work their way now out of the final corner, or out of Le Mans, rather, and onto the backstretch. Jumping up here, this is Roland Shatner going side by side. Whoa!
That was beautiful right there. Was that Andrew Broom? Yes, it is Andrew Broom with that little, oh, he squeezed into that gap nicely right there on Adam Wright in that Porsche. Andrew Broom made that one look easy right there. He gets a lot of room, and around is Chris Gooch in that 133.
Losing a lot of positions there, and that is coming out of the first corner, diving down into the second. Yeah, that car looks like it's crabbing a little bit.
Well, we're going to get the replay right here heading into turn 1. Oh, that's wide. That's grass, and it cuts across the crack, and bang! Oh, yeah, that's going to mess up your marbles right there.
Yeah, some definite damage to that Ferrari. He is back and working his way around, so we'll have to see if he's able to try to keep on going here, but it's up ahead of him.
Pit stop. He's going to go for the pit stop, get that thing repaired right there, as we are rejoining back live. Adam Wright leading out Roland Shatner, and then behind them is Tom Bingham. That's a pro leading a Pro-Am, leading an Am driver right there.
That is not something you and I were expecting to see when we tuned into this broadcast, I'll tell you that. But it is turning into a great fight here. Diving down into the corner, trying to see what there is. Almost 3 wide in the back.
I swear that was going to be 4 wide at one point. There's Chris Gooch stuck in the middle of all that. And around goes the 275. The 215. There's Chris Gooch on the inside. And there is David Gowrie, the 215. He was the one who I think might have got tapped in the back right there. Chris Gooch in that slow car, just definitely making his way around the track, as we're going to get a replay of that right now. And here is David Gowrie. You see Gooch on the outside, Gowrie onto the inside. There's Andy Thompson ahead of him. Then Brian, the 124, just got into him right there. Not sure who that is. Oh, Fernando Torres was the one who hit him.
Yeah, just a little bit of incidental contact there between himself and Torres as we jump back up to another battle in the pro category, in the pro-am category, excuse me. This is James Hall right now, currently leading Mikkel, trying to close in a little bit on Tim Spesser. And right ahead of them is Greg Hubler. So this is a mixed battle between the pro-am and the pro category.
Yeah, Hubler and Hall, very well done by them. They're battling with the pros, so Tim Spesser and Tom Mankwell. And this is just a scoring difference between these two. All the cars are being scored together right now. So if you score first in the pros, you're going to be scored first as well. If you score second overall, but you're an AM, you're still going to get the same amount of points as second overall will get. And that will be applied to your championship. So different championships. And, you know, Sebring, it's kind of a testing ground for a few of these cars. A few of these drivers really like Sebring. A few of these drivers don't like Sebring. And a few of these cars really love Sebring. And that's why I'm not surprised by the move by Tom Bingham and Andrew Thompson right now in those McLarens, because they're really on fire right now, and they're really showing how it's done, as a few of these cars are pretty struggling around the bumps around here, as Till and Thomas Cope, I think, are showing us a great sign of what's to come throughout this hour.
I think they are as well. It's looking very, very good there as they continue to go their way along. Very close battling all the way around this circuit.
Yeah, look how wide they went into Sunset Corner, using all the draft and not leaving an inch of space on each other. Thomas Cope, though, leading out Till and actually leaving Lucas Lang in the dust pretty much, as, well, if they continue like this, heading into the pit stop, it's going to be very interesting to see which strategy that Till and Thomas take with each other, as their teammate Lucas Lang might throw a little curveball to Thomas Cope and might try a little venturous strategy.
Very well might indeed, and that is a good point to bring up, is that pit stop that we will be expecting to see fire off here at some point over the course of this hour race. Drivers will come in. We anticipate that being a fuel-only stop. However, no one will be coming in for tires, as that's just going to take too long.
Side by side in the battle for 9th place right here. Down the inside, James Hall on Tim Spesser. No money right there, as that was Tom Mankwell trying to swing it around the outside of the Pro-Am driver. No money on that opportunity. Down the field we go to Adam Wright behind Luce ahead of him. They're going to go side by side heading into the hotel hairpin. Wright sends it down to the inside and nails it down there, that beautiful Lamborghini.
That's a very, very good move down into the hairpin. As we said, one of the better overtaking opportunities that you're going to be able to get. Smart now that we watch on your screen, trying to see if there's anything that he's going to be able to get. He's holding off Valentini right now. Getting around there, maybe trying to get a little bit of a move on Weeby Neatcamp up ahead of him.
Yeah, this is the tail end of the pros. Then he's got the Pro-Am leader behind him. And the Pro-Am leader has got a 1 second gap to Hall. So, you know, he can stay at the back of this group right there. Everybody ahead of him is really fast, and if he can play it safe, that would be great. Wait towards his pit stop. Maybe use these cars ahead of him as a little bit of a draft, or, you know, try to bring it to them, but he will also risk slowing himself down, as I believe they're actually catching up to the lead pack, the lead 2 right there, as everyone's starting to condense up at the front. Ooh, craziness happening here at Sunset Corner, as this is Stuart Wyness under pressure by the Mac Attack, Tom Bingham.
Indeed he was, and you saw that BMW getting a little bit squirrely coming through Sunset. That's one of the things, that's one of the reasons why you take it to traditionally to want to take a little bit of a wider line through the corner, is that inside line can be very, very bumpy and throw you off the line. But the Mac Attack coming on strong here from Bingham. Directly behind him is Regenvetter, though, so he can't be keeping his eyes too far ahead. He's also got to be checking those mirrors every now and again to make sure that he doesn't lose any positions to the Pro-Am driver behind him.
Yeah, Tom's doing an amazing job. 8 seconds ahead of Frisna in that Ferrari. Andrew Thompson had an incident. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a replay of that incident. Sorry, Andy. But he has fallen out of the top 5 in the AM category. And so it's no longer a 1-2 in the AMs. But what I'm really excited to see is the performance of that McLaren throughout the season. because I know it does extremely well on bumps, but then on other courses, it's laughably off pace than other cars.
Well, and there's always the dreaded off-throttle oversteer to talk about with it, but we've got a little bit of a side-by-side there as that is right going down the inside of McBride, putting that Mercedes down. Good move there for him. Excuse me, that wasn't McBride that he was able to get by. That is one of the Pro-Am drivers that he was able to work his way by. Good job there for him. That was Fields.
Yeah, Fields down there in third for the AMs. He's side-by-side with the Fernando Torres right there. As we go back to live pictures, James Hall side by side with Tom Manquel was able to set himself up around the outside. Well, he let Tom to get ahead of him, and now James on the back of that 13 Pro Ferrari as they are, well, almost bump directed down the front straightaway. Let's get a replay of Tim Spesser. This is through Le Mans, and too much mustard, gets into the grass, and oof. That's a very common Sebring mistake right there.
Yeah, it is, and that'll undoubtedly ruin Spencer's day. There a lot of damage to the front end of that Audi, but we jump back to live pictures as Michael Aska here trying to work down to the inside of that 111, trying to see if there's anything to be done. That's Regenvether, and he's got the move done. A gutsy pass down into turn one. A little bit of side-by-side there behind as well. That's Frisna and Adam Wright, able to sort that out nice and easy as well.
Yeah, beautiful move by the Vikings driver, Michael Ask. Heading into turn one, that is really gutsy. But when he can pull it off, oh boy, you can really pull that one off right there. Side by side as well for the battle for 39th right now. David Gill and Christian Engelhardt really having it in with each other as they're trying to chase down Pascal Ebner and Adam Morrison.
Indeed, they are looking at a little bit of that battle, trying to go. Here's the side-by-side. Gonna pull back off the line. Okay, that was a little bit of discretion being the better part of valor going down to the hotel hairpin.
Yeah, Sampson was really giving a lot of room to Mystic on his outside. And then he thought about it. It's like, I could send it right here, but we're in the first 20 minutes. And if I get a intimate incident right here, I'm not going to make it to the end of this race, and I'm going to look pretty silly for trying this one. I'll just play it safe and then get him when I know I can get it. And that's a very smart thing to do at some points in these multi-class races as well as these endurance races. You know you got an hour, you got a lot of opportunities to make a move, and sometimes the quick opportunities might not be the best opportunities right now, as this is Henrik Lang down to the inside of Jose Malbrand, but Malbrand just holding around the outside of Sunset Curve as the two Porsches stay ahead of Andrew Bruman, that charging Lamborghini. But here we go again. Lang sending it into turn one right there, and he's very tight. He had to check up a lot of speed right now. That might look good for Andrew Broom right now because Broom's got a lot of speed. He held his speed through there, but they have lined back up into the battle for fourth in the Pro-Am class and the battle for 14th overall.
Yeah, and you could really see there he did not want to give that up. We jump back up to the top here in the pro category following Matthias Beer as he tries to close down on Lucas Lang. This is starting to be a little bit of a processional train here. Yes, it is. Lang running a little bit wide, maybe feeling some of the pressure here from Matthias Beer.
Lang, the teammate of Till BM, the driver in second place right up the road. So definitely running a different car than his teammate, but they are teammates in the same term as Matthias Beer. He definitely saw that mistake by the Porsche, and that Porsche just looking just a little bit unstable right there through the Andretti corners. Just got a little bit wide, and that's definitely what you don't want to see, especially if you got a Ferrari behind you.
No, not at all. That Ferrari, a pretty well-rounded car. Jumping back here to Kieran Smart as he tries to close in on Niekamp. Everybody getting a little bit of the draft here, and so that's going to help everybody out as they dive down now into Sunset. A little bit of a wider line there from Smart, just trying to carry some momentum around the corner, maybe trying to alleviate a few of those bumps.
Yeah, the wider you go, the less bumps they are, but also the less grip you have on the surface as well. It's a give and take situation. If you don't have your car set up right to take that really wide line, well, you're going to find out what the outside of a concrete wall feels like.
Indeed, you will. Is Smart here just trying to see what he can get, working their way over the bumps. Big chunk of curb there for the BMW as they go now through the turns, lining through Gurney Bend. Not going to see any move there. Matthias Beer directly up ahead of him. It looks like he's lost a little bit of ground to Lucas Lang. Continuing to work their way through the corner, and indeed he is definitely losing a little bit of ground to Lucas Lang, looking like he's a little bit more in the area of getting under attack here from Kneecap behind him.
Yeah, Kneecap losing that spot to Matthias Beer. Well, chasing that spot with Matthias Beer with the 2 BMW train right there. As here comes Karen Smart. He's looking for a opportunity to set himself around the outside, to switch back down to the inside, but Smart is definitely staying on the back of that BMWs as the BMW train, you can see, just dwarfing the other sizes of the cars in that group. You can barely see the driver in 7th place, Tom Valentini, behind them in that Lamborghini. He's probably just taking back there. It's like, I'll just take this draft. Tom's number is actually the 122, but he's being classified as a pro right now. Honestly, now looking at it, with 7,100 iRating, I don't know how Andy messed that up.
A little bit of administrator error there very clearly for the 122, but he will have the advantage here, and this is something we haven't talked about. He may be able to save a little bit of fuel being there behind, just lifting off on the throttle a little bit, and maybe stretch out that fuel number a little bit longer, and that could play into the hands of the 122 as we've got a nice little battle here between Malbron and Lang. This is one that we saw popping off earlier. It looks like Lang got a little bit of a better run coming out of Sunset.
I think they touched. I think they might have touched mid-corner right there. Coming out of the exit to switch back to the outside as Lang was trying to look down to the inside. Look at the background. That is White Ness sending one deep down on the Lamborghini of Andrew Brune, and he's made that move work. Nice job, Stewart.
He has indeed. I didn't think that was going to work off at all, but he was able to get that car woed up and nice and easy down into the corner. So fantastic move there from Wyness to move himself up. He'll now try to insert himself into this Porsche on Porsche battle directly ahead of him.
Yeah, Porsche definitely be loving this show right now. Great for the reels. This is not what you want to see if you're one of those Porsche executives. Michael Askey getting off the track and the that little chicane section at the end of sector 1, and he's going to be very slow. He's letting a few cars by right there. That's probably a good thing to do, especially you got dirty tires. Take it easy. It's a long race. You can grind back those spots slowly at your pace as we are closing in on that 30-minute mark halfway through, and this is why I'm starting to expect a few pit stops to start happening. Maybe drivers pitting early. You're going to try to plan an undercut, get into that clean air, and then catch everybody off guard when they're heading into the pits, because this is definitely going to be a great spot to head into the pit lane heading into that 30-minute mark than after. But I know a few of these pros, the longer you stay out, the lighter your car gets, the less you have to wait heading into the pits. But hey, we might see some alternate strategies by a few of these drivers.
For sure, and I think really it's going to come down to when you can find that clear air. If you've got a good window to be able to come out into it, why not try to gamble a little bit, especially if you're a little farther down in the order. But normally what we do tend to see is drivers trying to stretch that fuel as long as possible. We talked about that a little bit with Valentini there behind. Jumping back in the order, this is Broom all the way down there as he comes their way through. Little bit of action there in the back for the 108.
Yeah, Andrew Broom, teammate to Tom Bingham. I'm seeing a lot of difference of teammates and using different cars than their teammates. I would suspect a few teams to be running the same car, you know, share secrets, work on setups right there. Well, it's a fixed setup series, but, you know, work on driving styles and stuff. But I think most teams are just saying, hey, drive the cars that you want. We're just going to be running the same livery, but they are teammates right there. And I don't know if you spotted, but in the background there are two performance linked cars, but one's a pro AM and one's the AM. And one's the AM leader. That's Tom Bingham in the background of there.
Yes, it is a great showing there for the leader of that AM category, a whopping 10 seconds ahead of Frisna there, who is second place in the AM category. So really, really holding his own and slicing and dicing up here with the Pro-Ams. 19th overall right now for that McLaren. A fantastic drive for him.
Yeah, beautiful drive. He might need to calm it down or else he's going to find himself relegated up to Pro-Am very soon.
He may indeed. I think the stewards may have a little bit of a look at that and go, hey, you're a little too good here for the amateur category. But as we ride on board now with the nose of Lang, Wyness looking a little bit aggressive here.
Wyness trying to find this one down to the inside right there. He's getting a little bit wild through the mod. Gone to the curbs on the inside, and that's really backed him off. And look who's behind him, Andrew Broom, and that Lambo is definitely in that draft. But Stuart Wyness really thought he could squeeze that big old hunkin' BMW down the inside heading into Le Mans. There was not enough room to make that one work, but he's definitely going to scare his way down to the inside right there and definitely try for a move. And if you're a car behind them, you might want to just back off and let these two fight it out before it gets ugly.
That's always a good strategy. Just let them squabble and pick up the pieces if anything happens. There comes a move down to the inside for a couple of drivers going down into turn one. Not sure how that played out as we continue to watch Tom Bingham look like, whoa, but no, here's the side-by-side. This is Lang.
Oh, that's late on the brakes. How did Lang keep that car under control? I am not sure, but he definitely doesn't want to have Stewart ahead of him.
No, he does not, and we've got the first couple of drivers popping off into the pit lane. It looks like Fernando Torres and Andy Thompson both diving down here early on.
Oh, I thought Stewart was going to go for it another time into the braking zone, but you can see the brake disc glowing red hot of Hendrik Lang to stay ahead of Stuart Wyness, and that Porsche is just so good at getting stopped compared to that heavy large BMW behind him. And there goes Stewart once more. Stewart late onto the brakes heading into it. Tread corner. He missed the apex really badly right there as Broom gets onto his back end. But that Porsche just got up and go around the outside and stayed ahead of Stuart Wyness. This is a big train right there as now Broom under pressure by Ronald Schartner behind him.
Yeah, Schartner having a little bit of a look on Broom, and as this battle continues on, this is only going to prove to slow them down a little bit. Jumping up here to James
What's going on
Hall.
over here?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what is going on, but it looks like Hall's got a pretty good run on Greg Hubler up ahead of him.
Yeah, Hubler was down to the inside of the track. It might have he might have got onto the grass on the outside, and that shot him down low, but I think they were just trying to break out the draft right there as, oh my goodness. This is a 8-car draft train right now as that Stuart Wyness slow down the middle, and now leading this group is Andrew Brew. What has happened with these two that were fighting with each other as Ronald Schartner, Stuart Wyness, and Tom Bingham, and Hendrik Lang, Stuart Wyness had an incident with each other as Tom Bingham has also hopped into the pits with them. I don't see any damage on there. I think they were all just trying to head into the pits and not being the leader of the pack right there, just giving themselves a room down to the inside to head into the pit lane as the pits are getting extremely packed right now. Holy Hearts and Christopher Regenwetter is into the pits.
Indeed they are. I think a lot of drivers here just going, this is a little bit too rich for my blood. I'm going to come down pit lane. But our leaders in the pros right now continuing to battle on. Nijkamp up here trying to hold off Smart behind him and close in a little bit on Matthias Beer. But Beer starting to stretch that gap just a little bit. He's gotten it up from what we saw previously. Remember how close they were earlier. Third place up ahead, Lucas Lang really starting to stretch his legs, getting that gap near a second.
Yeah, that's a good gap right there. And, ooh, this is where you really want to have that amazing lap down to the inside. That's a daring move by Brian Vorst on Adam Gladden right there. But Brian Vorst making that one work right now as, you know, pit stops are now ending. The first driver out of those pit stops that we just saw, it wasn't the first one into the pits. It wasn't Stuart Wyness. It's Tom Bingham. As Thomas Cope, the overall leader, heads into the pits, as Till stays ahead to retake the lead.
All right, so the first of our leaders here in the Pro category deciding to dive on in, as now we focus back down in the field. Colin Shaw under a lot of attack here from Gowrie, really trying to hold off that BMW behind.
Yeah, that BMW really closing in. He's closing in on a Mercedes, one of the AM drivers, Alex Fields, going pretty slow with that Mercedes through Le Mans. Probably struggling with just a little bit of grip, maybe running low on fuel, and that car gets pretty upset when it's light on fuel, and I'm expecting a lot of these drivers to start heading into the pits right now. James Hall, Jose Malabron, Adam Gallen, and Aiden Frisna have all hopped into the pits this lap. Are we going to be seeing a few more of these drivers? Yes, we are. That Mercedes, like I said, hopping into the pits, got a little bit upset. Almost contact right there with the Ferrari right behind him. And then Porsche, Stefan Anderson also heading into the pit lane, as now the AM drivers are popping in the pits right now. Luce is the new AM class leader at the moment.
Yes, he is. We focus back in on the battle for the pro podium here, with everything a little bit changed around because of the pit stop. Lucas Lang promoted up into second, Matthias Beer in third now, and Wiebe Nitkamp in fourth place right now. They're running pretty equidistant from each other. Not a lot of real crazy overtakes. I'm getting the sense that these drivers are just waiting to get into maybe the last 10, 15 minutes of the race before they really start showing some of the aggression we've seen further back down in the field.
That's always a good strategy. You know, you play it smooth the opening part of the race. Wait till you have to go into the pit lane. And then when you head into the pits, gloves are off. Well, all the brakes are off as well, as Till really threw it in there, as there's his teammate Lucas Lang also heading into the pits right there. Till, I was still slamming on the brakes past the pit entry board. I think, this is a prediction, I think Till might have sped the pits entering the pit lane.
Oh, well, we'll find out very, very shortly, as he will have to serve a long penalty.
This is going to be slick right there. You see the flash of red by Brian Force down to the inside, just appearing out of nowhere, really, as Ronald Schartner behind him are all headed to the pits. Get onto the binders, everybody, as this is Till still in the pits right there, and no pit lane penalty that I can see. Got in and out of his box in 21 seconds.
All right, so he just barely avoided that pit lane penalty then. Good luck there for Till Beam. We'll have to see how everything shakes out now once drivers finish out their pit stops, as it looks like the strategy here is to go exactly halfway and then come on in. This is for the lead right now. This is Kieran Smart holding on a very, very close margin.
Actually, that was Lucas Lang. We are looking at Till is still in his box. He's been stuck there for a minute inside of his box. Till Bev, he's now coming out of the pits. He did speed into the penalty. We caught his teammate coming out of the pits right there. But there's Till right now. He went in second place. He came out in 11th from that speeding in the pit lane penalty.
Oh my goodness, good catch there, Austin, but absolute heartbreak for Till Beam. That is going to completely and totally scupper his race here. Tough stuff here for Beam.
That was so unfortunate. He had the opportunity, and there was only one other driver that had a speeding in the pit lane penalty, and that was Lang, Hendrik Lang, the 123 Porsche. As our leaders, three of the leaders, Kieran Smart, Beer, and Valentini, all head into the pits right there. But, oh, if you're Till, you are kicking yourself right now.
Indeed, you are, as we see more of those pro leaders popping down pit lane. Nitkamp, the only one now that is staying out right now. Nitkamp, rather, the only one that is staying out. He's going to try to pull a little bit of an advantage here if he can. Focusing on the battle in the back here. This is Adam Gladden trying to get his way by Andrew Broom. Little bit of side-by-side there with Schartner.
Yeah, Schartner really said, okay, you can focus on the attack ahead of you. You aren't focused on the attack coming from behind. Swings it around down to the inside right there, and then holds him off heading into Le Mans. Beautiful move right there.
Yeah, and that is actually Till Beam directly ahead of him. That's where he came out.
Yeah, that was Till making that move on these two, Gladden on Schartner, and then out of nowhere, Till is like, move over, I got a race to win. And if he's going to really be working for that win right now, as one driver still has not gone into the pits. That is Wibbly Niekamp. And Niekamp definitely very good on his own. We've seen his pace on his own in practice, and he was very fast. 4th in qualifying in this clean air. This is where he feels the best. There's little traffic around him, so this is definitely where we want to see, where he wants to see himself in that BMW in clean air. Just work on Cope behind him. 32 seconds, 32.6 seconds is that gap. The pit lane time that we're seeing for a driver is about 52 seconds is the fastest one I've seen. The average pit stop is 23 seconds. And then he's going to be running that tank dry right now. Heading into the pits, diving into the pits, getting onto the underneath the pit speed limit as Niekamp heads into the pits. Is it going to be enough to stay ahead of Cope?
Well, we will have to find out. Cope working his way around now. There he is on your screen coming down the long Ullman straight. Niekamp's going to be hoping that he is going to be able to get the quickest pit stop of his life here as the 64 dives his way down through Sunset.
He's already been stopped for 10 seconds right there. It's not going to be enough for Niekamp as Thomas Cope, well, is just going to rocket down the front straightaway and retake the lead. As Niekamp, he just got out of his box, might rejoin about in 7th place right now. So the longer stop, staying out longer, is going to be 4th place for Niekamp. It was actually 4th place where he was before all this happened. As behind him, woo, getting a little spicy right there is Beer and Valentini.
Yeah, indeed they are, and so this is going to put him right back into the battle. He's going to have to try to hold off Matthias Beer a little bit. Obviously, no change on the tires, but you maybe want to try to just see if you can take advantage of it here as those tires have cooled down a little bit, being stationary. This is Ebner looking like he had a little bit of a run off there coming out of the first corner.
Yeah, wide into turn 1 was Ebner. If you saw Christian Engelhardt leading the Pro-Am division, he was. But for some reason, when he first went into the pits, only 5 seconds was served in his pit box. So I think he just got a splash of fuel and then realized, wait, I need more fuel. And he had to go back into the pits again.
Oh, and you hate to see that for a driver. We've all been there and made that mistake. But as we focus back here, this is that battle that we've been keeping our eyes on a little bit. This is Schartner and Broom and Gladden all around right now. And Bingham as well. Yeah, closing in behind.
Yeah, Bingham's all over that Porsche right there in that McLaren. We've all seen on how fast that McLaren is around here. And Tom Bingham in 21st place is doing an absolute wonderful job. And a statement to the AM category saying, I'm going for this championship, and there's nothing y'all can do to stop me. We got off right now. That is Michael Ask, down in 28th place. And that Porsche, the Pro-Am driver, was off the track coming out of the hotel hairpin.
Not sure exactly what happened to him there as, ooh, Malbron finding himself under a lot of pressure here from Brian Vorse until Beam directly behind him. As there they go. Beam almost pushing his fellow Audi through Le Mans and onto the Ullman Straight.
Yeah, it might be a fellow Audi, but he's no fellow competitor at all compared to Till. Till the Pro, Brian Vorse the Pro-Am, and this is the fight for 4th place in the Pro-Ams right now. You can see Till and how wide he's going to go. He's going for that absolute slingshot of a move down the front straightaway through Sunset Bend, and you can see both the Delta Sport driver all onto the inside right there, swinging onto the outside. Till's now looking down to the inside. Till just looking for an outside move, trying to get past these two, but Brian Vorse down to the inside of Malbrand. Malbrand and Till, they get into each other. Brian Vorse and Malbrand hard into the inside of the wall. They were going for all the biscuits right there, and Brian Vorse reversing back onto the track. He's starting to the middle of the track right now. That was a risky rejoin, and Stewarts might not be happy about that one, but definitely I would say one of the biggest losers out of that contact right there.
Yeah, big time, getting forced around and then having to back up like that. And as you said, Stewart's probably not going to be having the most favorable view of that rejoin. Let's go back and take a look at that moment.
Oh, they're touching on entry.
Oh, yeah.
And he sent it down there. He had the move down to the inside. You can see how much he checked up. And then around the outside, he left the space on the outside. But it was the car on the outside that just didn't want to go into the grass. Turned left just a little bit. Vorse was right there. And these two are being very aggressive. But if you're a tilt, you're like, thank goodness that was done.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a little bit relieved of it as we've got a battle for P2 right now. This is Lang trying to make a move on Kieran Smart right now. Lucas Lang, BMW versus Porsche. Lang is going to have to fall back into line, pick up a little bit of a draft as they go down the start-finish straightaway here. Now he's going to have a look to the inside. No, he's going to fall back into line.
No money right there. Kieran Smart in that BMW definitely knew how to hold that around the outside right there. Keep up the speed and keep that pace up. Less than 20 minutes remain here at Sebring, and this is where it's gonna count for these drivers. This is where you make your moves. This is where you put in those performances to get ahead and absolutely dominate. And oh, that is not what you want to see if you're a Bati's beer fan right there. Beer into the wall.
That's a bit of a strange area to be making a move that's coming out of Gurney Bend.
It's a common area coming out of Gurney Bend. He got onto the grass and had a wild ride and hit the wall on the inside. Trust me, I've hit that wall so many times.
Well, let's take a look at it here. He dives it into the corner coming out of Gurney Bend. Clips.
He's going to hit the outside curb right here. Late apex, outside curb, clip the grass, and then uncontrollable. Bang.
And almost was able to save it there in a four-wheel drift coming through the corner. Kudos to him for being able to have that much control of it. And I think he probably saved a race-ending disaster there, and he's able to continue on.
Stuart Winness behind Tom Bingham, the amateur class leader, who's in 16th overall.
Absolutely incredible stuff here from Bingham. Again, continuing to grow that lead over Frisna. A 13-second lead here at this point. Again, as we said, slicing and dicing with the Pro-Ams. That McLaren just showing its teeth here around Sebring.
Not just the Pro-Ams, the pros as well. He's ahead of a few pros. This is an absolute performance by Tom Bingham right now. And, well, it's definitely showing the performance boys how it's done, and really excited to see what he brings to the rest of the season right now. 13 seconds ahead of second place, 21 seconds ahead of third.
Absolutely remarkable stuff from Bingham, and you've got to be thinking there a little bit for poor Andy Knight, the fellow McLaren driver, Andy Thompson rather, the fellow McLaren driver, what could have been if he hadn't had that incident early on, as he looked like he was the only one to maybe be able to keep up with Bingham.
Yeah, and Andy Thompson before the race was saying top 5 $200 bet. Well, Andy, I'm sorry to say, but you're gonna have your work cut out if you want to keep those $200.
Certainly is. Little side-by-side here again between Smart and Lang. That battle continuing on. This is for P2 in the pro category as they work their way through the twisty bits, the second sector of this lap. Lang looking a little bit aggressive, trying to fill the rear view mirror of that BMW to the best of his abilities. Whoa, ho, ho, ho.
So close right there between these two cars. They headed to the Audi hairpin. Andretti corner. I'm in the wrong part of the track. My eyes are cross-eyed. It's light. It's dark outside. We're spotting headlights. I'm going crazy, and I love it. These drivers are making me go crazy, and this is absolute anarchy of an action right now as they headed to Le Mans. Lang on Smart. You can see Lang using all the track, using that Porsche to his advantage, getting onto the grass, both of them right now. This is going to be great if you're Lang. He knows he could get that car slow down much better than that BMW. Just ride that draft of the BMW of Kieran Smart. Looks it down to the inside right now. Side by side, they go into Sunset Corner. You see Lang really sending it through there, trying to get the lead and cut off Smart, but Smart staying out wide, using the momentum of that BMW to go wide and now rocket down the straightaway. They're side by side, but he's done it through Sunset Corner. Lucas Lang, P2.
And Smart's going to try to have a little bit of a fight back here into turn one, but it is too little too late, and that is Lang securely into that position, able to get it done. Massive kudos there to Lucas Lang.
It might have taken him 5 laps to do it, but it was certainly worth it. And let's get a replay of something that has happened in the background. This is Greg Hoopler side by side, and oh, that's a car looking down the inside, and oh no. Greg, you had a car down the inside. He's definitely going to look a nose down there heading into Le Mans, and he's going to be serving a slowdown and luckily nursing damage. I don't believe he's going to have that much damage. Just skimmed over the curb right there.
Yeah, so we should be able to get away with that nice and easy as we check back here. This is Stefan Anderson trying to close down on Andy Thompson directly ahead of him. Thompson 31st overall as they go down into the corner here, trying to see if he's got anything, a little bit of flashing the lights there behind. Oh, we've got a driver off. That's Broom. That is Broom off, unfortunately, out of 15th position. He has had a little bit of an incident there, and so that is a very unfortunate for the Lamborghini. He is going to be in trouble. Let's go back to check out the replay. Oh, he just goosed it. He goosed the throttle a little bit, spun those rear tires up coming out of the corner. Luckily, no damage to the 108, so he will be okay and able to continue on there, the Pro-Am driver. As we focus back here on Lang and Smart, this battle not dying, and now they've got a little bit of lap traffic in the way to make things interesting. Oh, is that almost a little bit of a bump draft there for Kieran Smart as they work their way down in a sunset lap car, compromising Smart's line a little bit, but he's able to get it back, woed up underneath him. They've got to be a little bit careful because Niekamp is starting to close in behind courtesy of this battle, and he is definitely within striking range. He is under a second behind them. They continue to go down there. Everything's spreading out a little bit more courtesy of that lap car that they were able to go around, as there they go off of the corner and now down into turn two.
Yeah, Smart losing a little bit of ground, and here comes Niekamp right behind him. Niekamp could really be a thorn in Smart's side if he's not aware that Niekamp has slowly clawed his way back and in range of third place overall. As here comes Smart. Are we going to be seeing a move from Smart heading into the hotel hairpin? No, we are not. But Niekamp, if he wasn't aware that Niekamp was right there, he certainly is going to be right now. Niekamp almost making contact with Smart right there mid-corner.
Well, and the other one to keep an eye on here is Valentini, who is very close as well behind Niekamp. So this is really turning into a four-way fight for the final podium positions.
Yeah, the second and third are definitely not locked in right now. Valentini really going out wide, trying to find a better line around Niekamp as we are closing in on 10 minutes to go here at Sebring. This is when the aggression really goes up and the elbows really come out.
Yeah, indeed it is. We kind of theorized early on, didn't we, Austin, that some of these drivers may be saving it a little bit for these last couple of laps around here, and indeed, that's exactly, I think, what you're going to start to see happen.
See them coming out of Le Mans down that straightaway. They're closing in on the lapped car in 39th place. That's David Gill ahead of them, or Adam Morrison. I'm honestly not sure which one it is. But they are closing in a lapped car, and that is David Gill. Okay, I was right.
They had David Gill in the 218 Audi right there, and that's going to present a little bit of an opportunity. Rest assured that Kieran Smart is going to notice that, maybe try to use that lap car as a little bit of a pick if he can. It's going to be something that he is going to be keeping an eye on very, very carefully as they go down through turn one. This is where that Audi is going to get closer. This is not where you want to be catching lapped cars.
Definitely not if you're Lucas Lane. If you're Kieran Smart, Niekamp, or Valentini behind him, this is definitely where you want to catch a lap car, because this is going to bunch up this group even more and have an opportunity for a move coming out of this corner, heading down the straightaway. As you can see, the lap car giving way to everybody else, and a few of these drivers be happy about that. A few of these drivers might be furious at that, but if you're Lucas Lane, you would just be saying, it's in the past, I got to keep my head down and keep going and try to pull out that gap on Kieran Smart.
Yeah, indeed you do, but Kieran Smart not going away quietly. Niekamp and Valentini able to clear by him as well, so everybody on the same page here. 10 minutes and 30 seconds to go left in this race. Ooh, a little bit of a battle in the
that's
back.
spicy.
Yes,
I see 69 of Adam Wright on Christian Regenwetter. And Adam Wright, in that one of the lowest scoring pro drivers, been having a rough day here today. As you see him going on to the outside right now of that Ferrari in that Lamborghini side by side heading into the hotel hairpin. This is going to be a big move onto the brakes. Adam Wright around the outside, but being fought back by Regenwetter. Christoph Regenwetter not letting Adam Wright have any of that one.
No, he is not, continuing to force him wide. They're going to have a little bit of a fight now coming up into Bishop. This continues on here. The battle not going away. Who's going to be the latest of the late breakers?
It looks
like Adam Wright.
Adam Wright. Beauty of a move right there, and very fantastic. Trying to turn the best of the worst day right here, and looking forward to the rest of the season. Now, all these drivers get one drop round, but they certainly do not want that first drop round to be race number 1.
No, you want to keep that stored up as much as you can. It's a little bit of a safety blanket for these drivers. Ooh, big amount of curve there for Lucas Lang. A little bit dangerous there, I'd have to say, coming through the second turn, working their way through Gurney Bend right now. Some more lap traffic up ahead of them as Thomas Cope has a 4-second advantage to these guys. He's basically in cruise mode here at this point.
In cruise mode and in control right now, Thomas Cope. Not worried about much cars behind him. His last lap was a 159.7. Everybody behind him is in the 158s and much faster, as Thomas Cope, I believe, might have had to deal with a few lapped cars. But, you know, if you're leading by 3, almost 4 seconds ahead, I think it's okay to be in a little bit of cruise control right now, because the fight behind him is looking rabid.
It is indeed, as is this fight. Whoa! Getting a little bit tight between the Mercedes and the Ferrari, going down into sunset. That is Fieldus and Luce coming through. Luce trying to hold that out as the Ferrari fights back.
Yeah, trying to hold it out, but here comes that Ferrari on that Mercedes. It's not F1 we're talking about. This is GT3, but man, these two are really tight in performance.
Indeed they are, and it looks like Luce is able to hold that out a little bit more here as they work their way around, jumping back in the order. This is Jose Malbron trying to see what he can do. I believe that is Andy Thompson. It is Andy directly ahead of him.
Yeah, Andy Thompson lap down. Well, not lap down. Man, I'm losing my head. Andy Thompson trying to get into 5th place. Right there, you can see in the background, looking down to the inside, and yes, here it goes, Malbron on Andy Thompson, and caught out Andy right there. He's going to have another car, that Porsche having to get off the track to get past Andy, or just trying to get the speed on Andy. I think that was Stefan Anderson.
I think it was too. Behind him, another good battle starting to go off there. That is Anderson and Colin Shaw directly behind him. So battles continuing to rage up and down through the field here. Colin Shaw looking like he is falling back a little bit. Ooh, here we've got a good side-by-side. This is Schartner trying to hold off the advances of Tom Bingham.
Yeah, Tom in that McLaren. We've seen on how good that McLaren handles around here and how zippy Tom is around here as well. Looking for 16th overall, Tom Bingham. You've got 7 minutes left, 13 seconds. I think Tom can put on the brakes, not literally put on the brakes, but just back off just a little bit and let this race come to him. This will be a first ever class win for Tom Bingham in Apex Racing League history.
And that'll be something that he will want to hold his hat on, and it looks as assured can be here at this point with such a massive gap for that McLaren. But Bingham is not done. He wants to try to push on Colin Shaw and get as many points as he can here in this race. Here we jump back, though, to that battle for the podium positions. This is Lucas Lang, Kieran Smart continuing to try to close in behind him. Niekamp and Valentini.
We've seen Smart do this before. Get into the draft, stay with him right there. He's much tighter around the corner than I would expect Smart to be. Usually we see Smart going way around the outside right there, but he's got 2/10 on him. I think he's waiting towards that last lap to really do it, because he closed in 2/10 just in those 2 straightaways. They got a lap car on the outside, almost rejoining, almost getting right ahead. Defensive lane move by Lang. Here comes Smart looking around the outside. Lang taking a defensive line. He's got to hold it onto that apex and really hits the apex of the second quarter as he got up onto the curb right there. Niekamp following back just a little bit, was held up by the lap car. So him flashing the lights, definitely not happy about that one. As here comes Smart back down by 3/10 on that Porsche of Lucas Lang. Can Lucas Lang make it a team 1-2 right now? Or can Kieran Smart make it, well, ruin that party right now? Currently, it's a 1-2-3, all different manufacturers right now, Lamborghini, Porsche, BMW, as we got side-by-side, Tom Bingham down to the inside of Shartner, Shartner around the outside of Bingham, Bingham on side-by-side with Shartner, Shartner, Bingham drag racing down the straightaway. Here with 5 minutes to go, Bingham looking down low, heading into turn 1, backs off from it, was too far back to really make that move. Very early turn in by Shartner right there, almost a, well, almost not the best moment right there if they were to get collected right there, but what a great performance by both these drivers.
Indeed, and you saw him just trying to ease his way this way and that, maybe trying to fill up the rear view mirror there of Shartner to the best of his abilities. He can't attack too hard, though, because that is Rene Hülkenhout directly behind him. That he is only about 7/8 of a second behind this battle, so Bingham can't fight too much if he doesn't want to lose that position as well. He's currently 17th overall.
Yeah, 17th overall, leading the AMS class by 13 seconds. And, oh, that round is the 127 of Brian Force.
And remember, we saw that car have issues before. He's got to be careful there on the rejoin and also careful not to beach himself on that little bit of strip there. He gets that Audi back going again. Brian Force, the Delta Sport driver, able to get back and going on track, but he will drop down to 13th in class.
Yeah, Delta Sport staff driver. We've seen a lot of Delta Sport drivers in the ARL Apex Racing League VRS F3 Super Series, but Brian Vorse usually in the chat supporting his drivers, but it's great to see Brian Vorse out there on track right now, but I guess that's not the performance that he really wants to be putting out there as we are. Ooh, that's late by Lang, and here comes Smart. Smart found the mistake by Lang. Lang got wide coming out of the Gurney curves. Now Smart leading out Lang. Smart defending from Lang. Lang's got to watch out because look out of nowhere. Here comes Niekamp around the outside. Lang sends it down to the inside. On the brakes, very hard, slamming down to the anchors, trying to get back around the Porsche, around the BMW. But oh my goodness, Kieran Smart found his opportunity, and here comes Niekamp. Niekamp's on the outside, and look at that, defending is Kieran Smart down the inside, and off goes Smart! Off goes Smart! Oh. Valentini jumps into third!
Oh my goodness, he just completely lost it there coming around the corner, and now Valentini trying to fight back, take that second place position away from Lucas Lang here. A little bit sideways goes Lucas Lang, but he's able to hold on to it.
Little bit sideways, little bit down and dirty, crash flying through the air. Valentini's got a good run, getting back behind Lucas Lang. Niekamp stayed in fourth. He had the opportunity for third right there. He had the move right there, but when Smart went off, he collected Niekamp just a little bit. Niekamp had to back off. He falls down to third, and now Lang has to hold off another Lamborghini, and that Lamborghini is Valentini. On his rear end, 2 minutes to go. White flag almost in the air. Yes, it is. Last lap opportunity. Let's get rocking here to start off the Apex Racing League GT Trophy.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of battle that you can see. You can see Thomas Cope just out of the picture there. He has taken the white flag, as have these drivers. And so now it looks like a two-horse race between Valentini and Lucas Lang, rather, as they go down in there. It looks like Valentini trying to back up the corner a little bit, but loses ground to Lucas Lang.
That Porsche is so good compared to that Lamborghini through this opening part of the track. You definitely do not want to be hitting these curves. Lucas Lang, he hit the curb on the outside. He's done it again. He's in the grass. This is an opportunity that Valentini needs. Valentini didn't hit the curbs. Lucas Lang did hit the curb. You see him weaving, trying to break that draft of Valentini. And Lang getting onto the binder, but look how late on the brakes that Lamborghini got. He's right on his bumper right there. Valentini and Lang drag race. You see him flash the light saying, hey buddy, guess what? I'm here. And it's last lap, side by side, they're going to go, heading into the dreaded corner. Lang defending down to the inside, Valentini going on to the outside. Lang's hit that inside curve. Valentini going for the switchback right now. They are nose to tail. Valentini putting a lot of pressure on Lucas Lang. Lang, they touch right there, nose to tail right now. Lang defending onto the inside once more. You see him just defending down to the inside, and now under pressure by Valentini. Valentini has got to run. Valentini is looking for the outside line. Side by side, they're going to go. Heading into Le Mans, the fight for second place overall. Valentini unable to send it down to the inside. Lang is able to hold it around to the outside right now as they head through Le Mans and down the back straightaway.
And here it goes. It's going to be a straight drag race as the checkered flag starts to fly for Thomas Cope in the air. We have hit the hour mark. We've got to focus in on your leader because he is going to be coming to the line for victory. Thomas Cope, a commanding performance here in that Lamborghini, comes to the line to take victory in the first race of the season as we jump back to the battle between Lag and Valentini. Valentini flashing his lights desperately to try to distract him, but it's not going to be enough. Lucas Lang is able to take P2 away from Tom Valentini.
Fantastic race by Lucas Lang and Valentini to get home safely right there. Second and third for them. Thomas Cope, dominant win right there. It's not by a thousandth of a second. It certainly feels like a thousandth of a second for second and third, but Thomas Cope definitely comfortably in the lead. This is Arthur Hupka putting pressure on Adam Gladden ahead of him as Gladden, he was in 14th when they started this race. Hupka was in 13th, and they've swapped spots somewhere along this line. Hupka taking a very wide line right there, taking the Pro-Am win. Greg Hobler comes home in 9th overall, first in class. And behind these drivers, I'm pretty sure there is a McLaren that definitely is looking for his recognition. Tom Bingham comes home in the sun right there to take his first Apex Racing League class victory right there as his teammates Broom holds off Torres right now. Andrew Broom, 9th in the Pro-Ams. Tom Bingham, you deserve to spray the flaming woofers all over the place because you took the win right there, Tom. Side-by-side action coming out of Sunset Bend.
Indeed, a little bit of side-by-side as they're going to cross over the line. That's Gowrie and Field is coming across there. Brian Vorse as well. There you see 28th overall. That's Luce coming in 5th place in that AM category. Last couple of drivers trickling in across the line here as we continue to follow Navarre Luce as he has run a very good race. As we said, 5th in that AM category.
Absolute fantastic race. That was loose. Try and take the short way back into the pit lane. As more drivers coming across the line. What a way to start the season.
Oh my goodness, Austin, just incredible action up and down the field. I can't, you said it best. I can't imagine a better way to start the season than what we just saw. There you see your final finishing order. It was Thomas Cope that was able to take the victory by a whopping 8 seconds over Lucas Lang and Tom Valentini, rounding out your podium positions in that pro category. Wiebe Nietkamp and Kieran Smart behind them, Matthias Beer and Tom McKell with Matthew McBride. Greg Hubler was your victor in the Pro-Am category with Till Beam and Tim Spencer behind him. James Hall and Adam Gladden round out your Pro-Am podium with Arthur Hookah Merle and Stuart Wyness, Roland Schartner, and Renee Hutenhout with Tom Bingham, your winner in the AM category. Christoph Regenweather was behind them with Andrew Broom and Adam Wright, a lowly 21st overall. Fernando Torres was 22nd with Eden Frinza in the second place in AM and David Gowrie in third in AM. Pascal Ebner was behind them with Michael Ask and Alex Fields and Navarre Luce coming home 28th overall. Jose Malbron was 29th, followed by Stefan Anderson, Andy Thompson, Paul Collinshaw, Brian Vorse, Alan Mystic, Hendrik Lang, Patrick Emmer, Ryan Oldie, and Darren Doherty there in 38th. 39th was David Gill, followed by Adam Morrison, Colin Sampson, Matt Sire, Christian Engelhardt, Chris Gooch, Mads Halsen, and Mark McManus rounding out your field today. Oh, I need some oxygen after that one. That was an incredible race, Austin.
You need some oxygen. I need some water for my throat. Heck, I think both of us. It's just nothing but happiness right now as we get the replays at the start. But man, how do you cool down from a race like that?
Well, I think the only way is to talk to a man who needs cooling down for sure, and that is Thomas Cope. Thomas, a commanding performance out there today. This has got to feel good to take the first win of the season.
Yeah, it's always good to take the first one of the season. It's obviously it sets the tone for the rest of the year, really.
Well, speaking of that tone, obviously a little bit of battling early on, but what point in the race were you really starting to think that this was going to come to you and that this was your race to win?
To be fair, at no point did it feel like that. Sebring's a very tricky track. You've always got to stay focused. Easy to drop a wheel and spin it. So you never really want to think too much about pace and trying to pull a gap. But Phil kept me pretty honest in the very first stint. He had some really good pace himself. Even when I upped my pace to try and pull a gap, he stuck with me the whole way. And congrats to him on the coming back and coming P10 after a bit of a mistake from him on his own side.
Well, looking ahead, are there any tracks that you're particularly looking forward to? Anything you're a little bit reticent of coming on in this this season schedule?
To be fair, the whole series schedule is sort of my area. I'm notoriously all right at Barber. One of my mates lives very locally to that circuit, so I get some really good hands-on experience. Okay, at Daytona. The one I'm worried about at the moment and worried on pace is Road America. Notoriously, it's not my best track, but in terms of the series, it's looking like I can push for some good results every race.
Well, good results are certainly what you are going to be hoping for and what we wish you the best of luck for. But as for today, anybody you'd like to thank for this run?
Yeah, the whole team, Olympus Esports, Charles in my ear, spotting for me the whole race, all the guys that helped me practice, all the guys that helped us on the weekend for the Sebring 12, Love 46 and Matt Loveridge. They've really helped us for practicing for that and essentially for this as well. And just everyone who's around me, all the family, friends, and everyone. And you guys for the amazing broadcast.
Well, thank you so much, Thomas. That was Thomas Cope, your victor here today in the pro category. Austin, we've got a whole bevy of guys. Anybody you want to talk to?
Oh man, well, he was asking. I was visiting his stream before the race, and we was having a little bit of banter. And he was asking for a shout out. Well, he certainly earned this shout out right now, and taking his first ever Apex Racing League class victory by what seems a country mile. Tom Bingham, how are you feeling after that one?
Hey Austin, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, good, really good.
It's going fantastic over here. I'm pretty sure you're doing much better than I am. That McLaren just seemed to be on rails today for you.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't driven it before. What a car! So it's just got so much turning. So compared to a lot of the other ones I've tried, it's yeah, really, it honestly does feel like it's on rails. You just got to be a little bit tentative getting on the throttle out of the corners, and as long as you sort of gently apply the throttle, then it's yeah, it's a bloody good car.
Yeah, bloody good car. Bloody race for you as well. I think you outperformed your Performance League teammate, didn't you?
I did, yeah. He had a spin, didn't he, in turn one, and I was shedded a tear for him because I thought we were going to have a good sort of double performance link car over the finish line there. So bit sad for Andrew, but yeah, he's quick. He's got some really good pace.
It was a massive day for you. Before we let you go and to go celebrate on your stream, if everyone watching on your YouTube, anybody you want to thank?
Just all you guys at Apex, obviously yourself, Austin, for jumping on the YouTube earlier, so appreciate that. All the Performance Link guys, anybody else that knows me, and also my wife for putting up my sim racing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's gonna be happy about this one. Whenever you come home in first, it's always the one that they're going to be happy about. Well, congrats on a great performance, and over to DJ, who is standing by with our third interview.
Indeed, I am pleased enough to be joined by our second place finisher here, Lucas Lang. Lucas, talk me through those final couple of laps because that was fast and furious.
I think the best way to describe it is stressful, but fun. So yeah, basically, the end we were all really close, and nobody really could build a gap. And the most important thing was to don't do a mistake. So yeah, I just tried to cover the 1-2 corners where you can overtake on this course, and don't let anybody get in on the inside, which was quite hard. But in the end, it worked out. But I have to say, with quite a bit of luck, also.
Well, the luck clearly played out for you, and it seemed like, and correct us if we were wrong on this, it seemed like a lot of you guys were kind of saving your stuff a little bit, holding back a little bit, waiting for those last minutes to attack. Was that the case, or were you in attack mode for this full race?
No, I actually tried to push the whole race, but I really struggled with the front end of the car in the beginning of the race. I had lots of understeer on throttle, and suddenly at the end, the car completely changed, and it was much easier to push, but it was full throttle through the whole race.
Well, I love to see that, my friend. But a second place, a great way to start the season. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for this incredible drive today?
Of course. First of all, I would like to thank my family. They always support me. So this has to be number one. And also I like to thank my team because they also always support us. So yeah, these are the two I would like to thank.
Well, thank you so much. That was Lucas Lang, your second place finisher here today in Austin. A great race, and we're getting ready to close up. But any parting thoughts from you, my friend?
I'm kind of missing out that I'm not in the commentary booth for the rest of the season, but man, am I going to be tuning in to watch this action.
Well, I know we'll be tuning in, and you can tune in the same time next week here on Apex Racing TV as we have another fantastic round of the Apex Racing League GT Trophy Series. My name is DJ Clark, and on behalf of Austin Knight and Dennis Branch, we would like to thank you for joining us here at the virtual Sebring International Raceway. And until we see you on the track, thanks for watching.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, You will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar world champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.